so we have some time, and so we would love anybody to ask any of the panelists questions. And then, of course, Michelle is going to wrap up and tell you about our women's walk that we're all getting ready to do at 4:30. And so, does anybody have any questions? Because we have Kat ready. Yeah. Go ahead, and we'll give you the microphone. Yes, ma'am.
By the
Hard
way,
to see you with the light.
By the way, if we can't really see you because this light is
Okay.
shining.
Yeah, get the microphone.
I think that's by luck. Can you still hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, so I am a student from Madison College. I am and should be graduating come May of this year with risk management and insurance.
Great.
I am.
Come on up. We'll get you a job.
We're all
So here I am, right?
We're
My question for the panelists is one, well, I have a couple questions, but I'm gonna make this quick, right? One is coming into the industry for me, what do you ask, or what is it that you want? How do we get our foot in the door? One, without the experience, but kind of sort of the experience, because I have auto insurance, so I've dealt with stuff. Life insurance, so I dealt with that aspect of life. But to be working in the industry and not really in the industry, what can you suggest for those of us that are new, that is looking to grab at it and go for our guts and be implemented within the company? Because a lot of the time when we're going through, say like Indeed, a lot of times some of the requirements scare us off because we're not completely qualified to do. We know that we can do it, but when we see something that say bachelor's degree and maybe we have an associate's degree, or if we see something that says you're going to be crawling under spaces and we don't like spiders, I mean, come on. I mean, let's be honest. Or if I say I want to be in, say, claims, but really my attitude sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. Tricia, will you take that?
Yeah. I mean, yes. What you're doing right now is taking accountability, right? You just shared with a group of people who are in hiring positions that you're interested in becoming a claims professional. And we talked about earlier, don't be afraid of a job description. Reach out to the recruiters. Right now, claims professionals are hungry for talent, and we will teach you as long as you have the customer relationship skills that we need in this industry. So I would highly recommend that you speak to a nationwide recruiter. Just ignore everybody else. And
Good one, Trish.
Can I get it one? Can I get it two?
Right. Going once, going twice.
Hey, you did good. You got yourself a job. Hey! That's awesome. See, that's awesome. You're going to be a great leader, actually, I can tell. Because of what you just did, that is putting it out there and letting people know what your needs are and what you need, and can you help me? And that's why we started the Women's Walk too. It's like we all want to come together, men and women. We can be better together. And you know what? We're supposed to help somebody brand new in the industry. You should have the same experience that all of us do, that we're like, man, I love this industry. A lot of these people that are in the audience are friends that we met in the industry. We'll be friends for years.
Same experience, same opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say I've hired a lot of adjusters over the years at entry level, no experience. What we're looking for is people that can talk to other people. That's a skill that's lost. And people that can communicate. I love to hire people that have been servers in restaurants or I worked at Nordstrom in high school, and that's how I ended up in claims, because I had the customer service experience. I didn't even know what drywall was when I started, and we can train the technical skills. It's the soft skills and listening and the speaking and the communication skills that are uber important.
I think we also had a question over here
Yeah.
at one point. Yeah.
Kat, will you go that way?
Sorry, we just can't see.
This is Kat Kennedy with everyone.
Go Kat.
And this is Kat Garavito.
Hey now.
We're talking about leadership roles, but prior to leadership, we need the talent to be here, right? And we're talking about diverse talent. A lost group is young parents. And specific to diversity, I don't want to claim statistics that I've read. I know I've fallen into one as a Latina teen mom, and we're trapped. That's what happens. You get trapped into parenthood and you're forgotten for the workforce. So there's an entire group of diverse, very, very capable talent that can't get in due to the strains of parenthood. There are a lot of organizations and groups that I've supported that are outside of organizations. But what are some things that organizations themselves can do to support that talent that, it's one thing to say, I'll give you a job, right? But then what do I do about my child? Or I'll help stipend your childcare, but you're not qualified for the job. So you almost have two whammies against you to get in, to start. And I know that with my start into corporate America, the person that was getting me my job specifically said to me, just don't mention that you have kids, let alone like 3, because you don't want to come across as somebody that's going to end up being flaky, that's not going to be available, that fits that stereotype. And my boss did not know for 3 years that I was married, let alone had 3 children. And I was petrified of ever making an excuse that somebody was sick. I would come up with any other reason besides that because I felt like it would impact me. Now I scream it at the rooftops, and in my tiny organization, if I see a kid on a Zoom, I'm like embracing it. Oh, you need to take your kid somewhere, pick them up, drop them off. It's not even a question. So what are things that companies can do to help tap into that new talent?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gina, you want to take that?
Yeah, I think so we're moving into this remote first or even hybrid world. So I think that really helps, and we don't have an issue with that, but we support people with children at our work, but you still got to get your job done, so you have to have some form of care, but being able to work from home and not having to commute to an office, that gains you a lot of time every day, right? That leaves you time to take your kids to school, to pick them up when need be, and you could schedule. So I think the working from home, and a lot of companies, even at entry-level adjusters, are working from home these days, or at least most of the days. I know a lot of companies, a lot of the larger ones especially, are doing a hybrid where you go to the office 1 day a week or a couple days a month, and you can work around that a lot easier than every single day. So, one, don't apologize for being yourself and for who you are. Embrace it. Being a mother of 3, you bring a lot to the table because you can juggle a lot, and you have a lot of organization.
You're a multitasker, Mama.
Yeah, I mean, that's not easy. So, but I think the working from home, and maybe, Chris, you can help me out. We started partnering, and I'm not really sure where it went, but there's an organization for getting mothers back into the workforce. Do you remember what it's called? Put you on the spot.
Me?
But,
Oh, because I know a few, but I can't think of any of them. off the top of my
But
head,
there
too.
are organizations out there, and companies are starting to work with them more, and that's something that we can all do and look into is how do we help mothers get back into the workforce? Because, we know they all have a lot of integrity and a lot of Jessica's favorite term, grit.
Yes.
That,
I love grit.
Grit,
can
great
handle
word.
a lot, and they're strong.
Yeah, and I just want to add to that. First of all, it's unfortunate that you felt the need that you had to not share that you had 3 children and married, so I
Different
that's
times.
not a great time to hear that.
people.
I'm really happy. I'm a single mom with 2 children, and my company supports that and understands that there's a balance, right? And I think it kind of goes back to what we were saying, that not only are college degrees being eliminated, but also like stay-home mom might have taken off 10 years to raise their children. That's to me, that's a harder job than what I do. So, but with that said, it's eliminating too these big corporations and tech companies of the highly skilled, experienced people. So it's just, eliminating equally of the 4-year degree and the highly experienced, because I think that will help that gap for the stay-home moms that are in those situations that want to get back to the workforce. But yeah, I mean, being a single mom and working crazy hours and working catastrophes that we all know and claims, there's not enough time in the day. We learn how to delegate, and we learn how to work quick and, make quick decisions. So I think moving forward, you're going to see a lot more opportunity as hopefully you could see right here by all these companies speaking of what they're doing internally.
And I would add that I can look in this room right now, and I see about 5 people I know have 2, 3 children at home.
I know this one has 4.
5. I see. There's 2 little nuggets here.
yeah,
I saw
I
2
mean-
little
Yeah.
guys walk in.
But
Yeah.
I would just say you're in the perfect company, and I think work this crowd here. I think you can find, I was going to mention Michelle in a minute because I'm with her all the time, so I know the nuances that go on with that. But I think you have a community here of women that feel your pain, but also can give you some advice too.
Men that are in the room.
I mean, I have a sales rep on my team that's worked at Daily for 13 years that has 4 children, and she's
And
amazing
and
performer.
she's bad.
She's
good
an
at what
amazing
she does.
performer.
Yeah. Go ahead,
I was
Jan.
about to.
I was going to say, Kat back there, Katerina, I mean, she is not a weak lady, I'll tell you that. We should talk about that. She's one of the founders of the Rise Foundation that is
Yes.
helping young
Yes.
future
diverse
leaders,
talent.
insurance industry folks in helping mentor, teaching leadership skills, and they've got a whole organization that's pretty incredible. So
Yeah.
very impressive.
Rise with Amy and
Yeah.
Katerina. Yes. Yes. And so, any more
We got
questions?
We got one
Yeah.
more question back here.
Okay.
It's pretty scary. So, first of all, I just want to say that, this is awesome. I'm really happy we're doing this. And I have a question for y'all specific to the industry, but also across other industries. So I think the insurance industry, at least from a young perspective, is a little bit legacy. We see a lot of the same faces in some of those big, important meetings and rooms. And it's incredible that it's changing. But such a large part of getting to the next level is those relationships and kind of those interpersonal relationships that you can build with people that can help you get to the next level. So how do you, when you're at a disadvantage because you're coming from a minority position, and maybe the people that you need to network with, that you want to network with, don't look like you or share your interest, or you don't know how to shoot a score in golf. I don't even know what that score would be. So basically, how do you walk that line of or how have y'all walked that line in your careers of being able to establish those relationships you need while staying true to yourself and the things that you have authentic to you?
Oh, man.
Are
That was
you
a
saying-
good question.
Are you saying getting into the industry?
I'm
Or
saying more
getting-
from,
or
like-
getting to the decision maker.
I'm saying more from the step from being in the industry at a specialist role or a task role, and you really want to grow into a larger decision maker role. And that's insurance industry, that's any industry. Just kind of how do you make that jump from having your foot in the door to being C-suite with people that you don't necessarily have things in common with at this moment in time?
So with myself, so I started in the industry in 2004, and I didn't even know what IA meant, which there's a lot of acronyms in the insurance industry. So I had to call my father, who started in 1983 adjusting, and I said, "What's an IA?" And he said, "That's what you are, honey. You're an independent adjuster, and don't say that out loud." So I had no idea, and you know what? It was like, I was like, I need to meet Lisa St. Ange with a Mickey. how do I get to Lisa? And I don't even know what the word IA means. And so I started asking questions. So a lot of the women in the industry, I started asking them while we're networking and getting to know each other. I asked, hey, will you mentor me? Carol Fisher was one of the first persons I met in the industry in 2005. I said, Carol, can I follow you around? And she said, yes. And so she introduced me to people. She introduced me to Lisa St. Ange. We had a business, we did claims, and I was like, I just need you to see that, give me a chance, and I think we might be a good partner. And in leadership roles, I think you need to do the same thing. You need to ask. You need to say, will you be my mentor because you are a vice president and I want to be like you. I want to look like you. I want to talk like you. Will you teach me how to chew bubble gum and blow it?
Yeah.
And that's what I did. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to pass it off.
I'll take a little different spin, not on mentoring, but early in your career, I highly recommend taking risks, volunteering for those terrible jobs that nobody else wants to do.
Yes.
You get experience, you get your name out there, you get exposure, you get known as somebody that's willing to try new things, that's not scared, that can adapt and learn quickly. And I think that's probably one of the best pieces of advice I was given early in my career is just do scary things and try new things. I mean, one time, actually, one of my employees, I was a team leader for a cat team, and we did property, and they needed a team to go handle auto total loss for flood claims from a hurricane in Florida. And we had one person on our team that came from total loss, and we're like, can you teach us? Yeah, sure. All right, we'll go. And we sat in a salvage yard for a couple months, probably, trying to figure out how to handle total losses. And we did. And we tried it. And
Did everybody get a total loss that
we all were like dying because we were sitting in a mold-infested salvage yard that we couldn't breathe. But we learned how to handle total losses pretty much on our own. So try scary things. That's what I say. Don't be afraid. Volunteer.
Yeah.
So if you have somebody who's going to stop what they're doing and go, I want to do insurance, what is the base start salary? Is it enough for them to stop whatever they're doing? What are they going to start at? Is it all different? I mean, is it going to be enough to leave a job that they're pretty secure at and to pay their rent? Like my son's 23. I'm like thinking this whole thing, like he would love this. He would be great, but he still has his bills. Like, where do you start? How do you know how much you're going to start?
So, do you want me to answer that?
Go ahead.
It depends at what level they're at, right? If you're a data scientist and you want to come into claims adjusting, you're probably not going to make the same amount of money. But if you're someone who's fresh out of an education or transitioning into an entry-level role, I'm not going to share what we pay our starting adjusters at, but it is definitely a livable wage. And it is yes, it's definitely a livable wage. Yeah, and there's lots of opportunity if you're good. I mean,
Exactly.
to work cats, we pay cat bonuses and there's overtime. I mean, there's all kinds of ways that you can make more money if you have the heart to do it. And it's a great career path. So the claims organization has so many different levels to it and complexities to it that you can just continue to grow and grow and grow. So I highly recommend folks to show an interest in insurance because while it is legacy, right, it is an older kind of institution, it's also absolutely fascinating. And we are on the cusp of like really doing some very cool things from data, IT, relationships, AI, all those fun buzzwords that we're hearing about now. But it's a cool place to be. We're making claims and insurance cool up here.
Yeah,
And you all
yeah,
are
we
too.
really are. But
We
Debbie,
said
that's
sexy.
a really great question because part of too being up here and the Women's Walk and all of it is to raise awareness about this industry because nobody wakes up and says they're going to be insurance, and the only way you do is if your parents were in insurance or you have family that was in insurance. Otherwise, nobody would ever think to be in insurance. But once you get in it, we all know in this room, you don't get out of it.
But there's
I'm
so
with you.
many different places you can go once you
So
get into
many.
it. There's absolutely everything in the insurance industry.
There's so many kids that are in college for 3 years, such as my daughter, she graduated with all the awards. My son is 23, and it's not really
Yeah, we'll take them all.
He's very
Yeah.
call him safety squirrel. He is a rule follower. He's very educated.
I'll take him. She can
Right.
have your daughter. I will take him.
All right. What other cares you got here?
What's his name again?
We're gonna be rock, scissors, paper in up here soon.
Any other questions? Yes. Kat, hang on one second. We're going to give you the microphone. Yes.
She is just wearing that fanny pack.
Yes.
Yeah,
I love the suggestion of having HR go reach out to trade schools instead of just focusing on the college campuses.
Yes.
Are there any other action items that companies can do to really ensure that they're building an inclusive and diverse environment?
That's a good question, actually, on the
I can-
action items. Yeah, go
So
ahead.
one of the things that why I'm still at Nationwide and I love about Nationwide is the development of our associate resource groups. We call them ARGs. They're called employee resource groups at other organizations. And we really invest in those groups. So I had the pleasure of serving as president for our Women Empowered ARG that had over 4,000 members across the company, across the country, including men. And those types of employee-led grassroots groups open up so many opportunities for focusing on diversity and inclusion. We have a Pride, we have Black ARGs, we have an Asian. I mean, we have so many of them, and we celebrate every month. Like, so we're celebrating Women's History Month this month. We celebrated Black History Month in February. We'll celebrate Asian History Month in May, Pride in June. It just goes on and on and on. And that is supported top down. So every historic month that we're celebrating, our CEO kicks off that month. And so it is something that is all through our culture. Everybody's asked to become members. And it's just a great opportunity for development, mentoring, networking. I mean, I think one of the things that really propelled my career was being a part of that just as a member. It opened up relationships to me. Then I was able to speak to other women in the company and learn about different things. And I'm a big fan of those types of initiatives. They've proven to be very successful, and they're great at attracting talent. When we go out from a recruiting perspective, we are always talking about our associate resource groups as a way to attract talent.
Now, I'll piggyback on that. I think you all do a great job. I got a quick, funny story. I've been doing Nationwide for 20 years, and I don't know if you know Julian Macias.
I don't.
He's as a Latino employee of y'all, and he's on the PRN team. And we've been doing the business for 20 years. 10 years in, he calls me, Joe, I didn't know you are a veteran-owned business and a minority-owned business. I was like, it took me 10 years to figure that part. Luckily, they like the work already, right? So our calling card was, we do great work. But he calls, I didn't know you're diverse. I'm like, are you serious? Get off my phone. But you all do a great job of continuing to lean in. So I think for the people out there that want to grow, want to, network with leaders like Gina that's progressive and so on and so forth. I think you're with a good group, and I appreciate what you guys are doing.
Yeah. I think you just made a really good point too, is ensuring that our vendors
Yes.
Oh,
are
gosh, yes.
diverse and inclusive as well. I think they're out there representing us. I look at that when I'm hiring when we're doing partnerships with vendors. We're really looking at what kind of culture are they fostering at their company.
Well, it kind of goes back to what Trisha's saying, 57%.
Or sitting across the
homeowners
table
are women.
during the meetings.
Yeah.
Are you, like Trisha actually said, she said, I was in a meeting with a vendor that I was the only lady at the table, and nobody looked like me. And so I was like, wow, so we have work to do, and we can all be better, and that's why we're all here. So it's nice to throw the elephant in the room and kind of just take a little bite every now and then and talk about it and chew on it.
And I'll tell you this from a vendor perspective. So there are vendors who subscribe to the same, values and beliefs that we do from a nationwide perspective. And when I see the diversity in the room, when they bring their team and I see the diversity in the room, I thank the vendor for the talent that's in the room. And I am more excited to do business and grow with them if I see that they're invested in their folks that way. I had dinner with a vendor last night, and I thought I was going to be meeting with 2 men, and I walked in and was pleasantly surprised that 2 women were at the table and 1 man. And we had a great conversation. It was a great night, but that was unique, and I was very, very pleased by that.
All right, well, we only have a little bit longer, so Michelle, do you want to take us home?
Yeah, so I think closing is about the Women's Walk, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So first of all, I just want to thank all of you in here, and I can already tell the support for the Women's Walk by your bright pink shirts. So we are very, very thankful for that, for the support. The cherry on top is that we will be presenting a check to the Spencer Foundation for the proceeds that we have raised outside of putting on the event, which has been, pretty significant, and that's due to all of our wonderful sponsors and participants of this walk. So we hope to see you all there. Thank you all.
Yeah, so
Let's get your puffer jacket on because it's not
cold
warm
out there.
And let's rock and roll.
hey, and thank you so much for coming. This was amazing. We appreciate y'all.
Thank you for the support.